Bola kiriman dari Asnawi.
Ya, ini memang perkembangan Asnawi Mangku Alam dari waktu ke waktu cukup positif ya. Bahkan kalau menurut saya Asnawi ini bisa dikatakan salah satu bek kanan terbaik yang dimiliki oleh tim nasional Indonesia saat ini. Bukan hanya di level junior tapi sudah masuk ke level senior.
Ya, dan ia punya kelebihan bisa bermain juga sebagai holding midfielder ya,
Iya,
yang memang
betul.
kerap kali ia mainkan di
Baru, Wardah Velvet Matte Lip Mousse. Lembut banget, gak lengket. Langsung ngeset super matte. Transfer proof dan tahan lama. Nyamannya beneran, seriously. Wardah, feel the color comfort.
Wayne coba kerjasama dengan Yakubu, langsung dicegat oleh 3 pemain PSM sekaligus. Edi Gusmawan saat ini. Asnawi Mangku Alam coba untuk kembali ngatur stamina.
Bang Bang My Life Edition. Buat temen nongki yang seru. Dapetin Bang Bang My Life Edition dan rasain 4 kelezatan dalam satu gigitan. Bang Bang Life Pack-nya, love coklatnya.
Memang tidak terlalu bersahabat bagi Bayu Gatra karena ia harus bermasalah dengan cedera.
Memang kalau kita lihat sejak direkrut dari Madura United,
Di 22 menit yang sudah berlangsung, Bayu Gatra mendapatkan kesempatan sebagai starter, pemain yang kemudian memang muncul dengan sangat baik di laga persahabatan,
segera memulihkan kepercayaan dirinya dan segera tampil ke performa terbaiknya.
Ya, lempar ke dalam untuk PSM Makassar akan diambil oleh Asnawi Mangku Alam, pemain PSM. Ke depan maksudnya mencari Giancarlo tadi.
Ya, dan kita lihat perubahan dilakukan oleh Aung Naing langsung di menit ke-23.
Ya, memasukkan ya, sudah semakin dekat. Kita lihat bagaimana para pemain SHAN United lepaskan sebuah umpan silang. Di stop dengan baik tadi oleh Deddy Gusmawan.
Ya, cukup berbahaya ya karena kita lihat Yakubu Abu Bakar yang sebetulnya seorang gelandang ini sepertinya didorong ke depan ya, karena beberapa kali dia ada di posisi striker.
Makassar hanya satu pemain tapi cukup merepotkan, dinetralisir dengan baik. Bayu Gatra coba berikan bola 1-2 dengan baik sekali tadi pada Ahmad Agung, dan kita lihat bagaimana saat ini Usa Saha yang dijatuhkan.
Offside tampaknya.
Sudah terlebih dahulu dalam posisi offside ketika menerima bola dari Bayu Gatra.
Iya, agak terlambat tadi kita lihat Bayu Gatra passing bola kepada Osas.
Ya, kembali kita lihat dalam tayangan ulang dari belakang. Kerjasama dia dengan Giancarlo. Cukup ketat pressing yang dilakukan oleh para pemain SHAN. Jadi Gusmawan geser kepada Hussein Aldor, pilih untuk mengirimkan bola ke depan ke tetap tenang jika memiliki penguasaan bola sebelum menyerang. Hussein Aldor saat ini dia lambungkan bola ke depan.
cantik.
Cukup baik kali ini, tidak ada offside di sana. Yakub Sayuri lepaskan umpan silang. Tidak sampai tadi karena intercept dari Yemin Tiu.
Ya walaupun kalau kita katakan tadi pemain SHAN United tidak ada yang istimewa, tapi kalau terlalu sering dikasih kesempatan
2020 season off with a new club. To a rocket of a start. With his first. That cross.
When Jawa deigned to get involved, he actually made a nice pass there.
Is Dede Usmawan has been playing top-level Indonesian football now for 13 years. Capped a couple of times for his country as well. Osas, who has a couple of caps too, Nigerian-born Indonesian. Leo Gunawan made a good fist of himself in this game so far and really imposed those threatening runs as much as possible. He's gone attacking the byline. He's pulled it back well enough. Oh, brilliant strike. Absolutely superb. And you question why Jakob Sayuri didn't take more shots in the first half. He struck one on the crossbar which came out, and this time it kisses the crossbar and it goes in to make that exclamation mark and make it an even more compelling and superb strike. 2-0 PSM Makassar.
Well, and as that one came across, I was thinking, come on, put your laces through the ball, really smack it, and that's exactly what it does. 6 inches higher and it ricochets off the bar. This one, the underside, back of the net, second goal, and that gives them a nice cushion. And a well-worked goal, and all credit to Leo Gantara, I think it was, with that good run down the left-hand side. It was a very, very good goal. Bojan not giving much away there, but I think he'll be really pleased with what he saw from his team.
Well, Jakob Sayuri was criticised last year when he was playing for Barito for not scoring enough. He's gotten his 2020 season off with a new club. To a rocket of a start. With his first. Crossbar probably still shaking from that strike.
Well, it wasn't a tentative little push at the ball, was it? He struck through it with confidence and got his just reward.
Osas couldn't keep hold of the ball. Nengu comes forward, but yet again the options so few and far between because there's not much movement up front for SHAN United, despite the fact that Jawa has gone up now and played much further forward in this second half. Abu Bakar, much more positive play from him. So that's very well defended by Hussein. Very well defended from him. Bantara to Giancarlo. The left fullback to do the needful in terms of the clearance. And it's not just a clearance, but it was a superb pass, dinked over the head and finding Bayu, who then find some space right now for the scorer of the second goal, Jakob, who's already created a couple of good opportunities. Asmawi was there to be hit. Instead, he tried to be unselfish and lay it on the plate for Osas. Could have easily been 3-0. team in red who scored 2 goals. Season off with a new club to a
tentative little push at the ball, was it? He struck through it with confidence and got his just reward.
Osas couldn't keep hold of the ball. Nengu comes forward, but yet again the options so few and far between because there's not much movement up front for SHAN United, despite the fact that Jawa has gone up now and played much further forward in the second half. Abu Bakar, much more positive play from him. That's very well defended by Hussein. Very well defended from him. Antara to Giancarlo. Who then find some space right now for the scorer of the second goal, Jakob, who's already created a couple of good opportunities. Asmawi was there to be hit. Instead, he tried to be unselfish and lay it on the plate for Osas. Could have easily been 3-0, Jamie.
Well, the crowd are liking it, the players are liking it. I'm sure Boyan's happy with it. Suddenly they look a lot more confident. PSM playing some nice stuff now, and you do feel, as we did in the first half, that SHAN could still be on the wrong end of quite a hiding here.
Asnawi happy to always exploit the space in front of him. Bayu, but his lace is entangled. Nengu breaking forward. Kubu Abu Bakar. The referee's brought it back for a free kick.
Hussein's not going to back down in any of those confrontations. Jawa going head to head with him, literally. Wasn't even Jawa's row to get involved with.
Jawa still very much from that way for the second substitution of the game, and it's Pierre Court who comes on. It's almost all hands to the pump now. It's another striker brought on for a defensive midfielder. That's his first touch, Pierre Court. There is Jawa looking for the angle to pull the trigger. It's a mighty long time, and he still is hesitant on taking that final shot at goal. Tagoe finally comes up. Who wants to take that responsibility of pulling the trigger in the end? Oh, cross was good enough by Nanda Chor. It was in play all the way. It wasn't kept in play in the end by Theo Win.
Quite tricky for SHAN United now. Do you try and push on and see if you can get back into the game? Do you try for damage limitation? And see there again, that big space between the midfield and the defence.
It's a team in red who scored 2 goals with assists from fullbacks. That seems like the world order these days, even in this part of the world. Hussein Eltor. I guess SHAN United will be worried about the paucity of chances for them, not just in this game but also in the game against Kaya. They have created next to nothing, haven't even forced the goalkeeper into a save in one overmatch yet in the AFC Cup.
Plenty of PSM bodies got back there to snuff out any danger. I think from their point of view they'll want to manage the game from here. 2 goals up, just over half an hour to go. Not really look like conceding a goal.
That is a very clever reverse ball looking for Nanda Chor. Abu Bakar fought hard for it. It's well done from him. It's dangerous, but the goalkeeper is confident enough to use his boots. Ian Chan confident enough to allow that bouncing ball, take it on the half volley and pass it back to TRC2. Couldn't do anything at all with both those goals. Win trying to bomb forward and create the space. Nanda Chor, any chance, any opportunity, he's flinging one inside. Time a little too deep at the end for Sonong. Fioai, it's disappointing.
Well, the ball in from Nanda Chor on the left was quite good, but that second ball in was woeful. I think the home fans will be looking forward to more goals in this.
Having created second, he's only in this game taking the place of Pero Pere, Ronnie Bodapere, Leo Gutara, also in his first season for Seman Padang.
He's had a good game. Obviously, the assist now was excellent play, but overall he's caught the eye. Become very much a favoured position, or it looks like he's going to have to go off. That rotating motion suggests that he's not able to continue. He's given the thumbs up though. Players always want to. Players that you like always want to carry on. I've never understood players who are quite happy to come off injured.
Well, Ronnie B is getting ready to come on in case he is needed. The player who started as left fullback in that opening game defeat against Tampines Rovers. I guess a couple of players have been left on the bench. Some regular starters like Ferdinand Sinaga, only because their opening match this weekend against Liga 1 takes place, and they are very mindful of that as well. At the end of the day, the AFC Cup, all good and dandy, but winning your league, a lot more important, isn't it, Jamie?
It's the rice bowl, isn't it? This is just the delicacies go with it. Your main menu is the domestic league.
Yakubu Abubakar, did he get away with it? Oh, is that going to be a card? Referee lenient yet again. There he is. Roni B. Roni Beropre taking place of Leo Gutara.
I think he's had a good game, and I think he'll be pretty pleased to come off after just over an hour on a little bit of a high. Doesn't look as if he's too badly injured. Despite the thinning hair, I think he's still only 27. Another of the new crowd. So many of these players only been with the club a matter of months, weeks even. So well done, Boyan, for pulling them together into a team.
Roni B really finding space to deliver that cross, and right at the end for Jakob, but it's well caught by the goalkeeper TRC2, who had watched it all the way. Cho just keeping it alive down the line for Jawa. Used Nanda as a decoy. It's brave enough with the efforts in the end. Hong Pie Ko couldn't find a target.
I'm quite happy with him taking the shot on, but he could have laid the ball off. Jawa was hoping to get it passed back to him again.
Giancarlo, yet again, he's antsy, isn't he? He just wants to get involved one way or another. Loads of space opening up for Bayu. Had more time than he thought that he did. Only one player to hit inside the penalty box, and that was Sayuri, Jakub Sayuri.
Centre forward Giancarlo still not in the picture here. Finally get to him almost on the halfway line.
Here is Tagoe, his more familiar defensive midfield role, which he plays for his country, Kyrgyzstan. Tiazo, Jawa. Jersey is being tugged, a referee might call it back.
Osas was exasperated with that misplaced pass. He'd done well initially and he'd made a good run. Wasn't that hard to find. Gatra, misplaced pass again.
For it, but Mintu decides to go outside to Nian Chan. Win. Back to go away from Pieko. For it, but Mintu decides to go outside to Nian Chan. Win. Back to go away from Pieko. Win. Again, those two combined superbly. Well, they found some space inside for the shots. Finally, one on target. Goalkeeper smothered easily, but at least it's on target for SHAN United.
Well, if PSM could have played that ball out of defence a bit more cautiously, there were 6 SHAN players left upfield.
Giancarlo. Osas. Both centre forwards deep. The furthest player forward was their right fullback. That's now Ibaha.
That's the way football is played these days, Mark.
Venture up front, which is halted painfully after a flying challenge by Nian Chan.
I think in the current refereeing climate, that's usually very heavy challenge. I think it's only only going.
Very tough group. It's their fellow Myanmar side, Yangon. They drew 2-all against over the weekend. Had Lao Toyota to beat yesterday, facing the likes of Kaya, Tampines Rovers, and PSM Makassar. The difference in quality has been very stark. Jakub Sayuri, clever ball inside for Giancarlo. It's a poor touch from Giancarlo. It was almost as if his right boot was made of bricks then. Bounced off him. As if a trampoline for boots. Jamie Reeves still exasperated by that.
Well, you pray for positions like that. It was a nice pass. It was weighted correctly. He just needed a decent touch and get the shot away. If you miss, so be it, but a leaden-footed touch like that.
Cho. That's towards goal, and it clawed out. The referees brought it back. Was that for a foul? Well, maybe that might not have been given, but that certainly was a chance, and the goalkeeper, Miswa, had to produce a save.
It was a decent save. I don't think there was any foul there. I think he's pulled it back because there was a head injury. Skipper Risky Pelu there, who's had a good game for them. I like his work. He's enjoying himself. Should be a drop ball, but I don't think it'll be contested by SHAN. There we go. Good sense prevails there.
Miswar Saputra finally called into action over the last 10 minutes. A couple of saves he's had to make. One a shot taken by Pierre Cole. He got down well to it and was comfortable with it. Giancarlo. Pelu, it's a clever ball. Just carving open this defense easily yet again. Bayu has brought Jakub Sayuri back. We know that he can strike it. He's already struck one. This one flies over.
Yeah, but I'm okay with that. It wasn't tentative. He got it out from under his feet. Took the shot on. Okay, didn't hit the target this time, but at least he got a decent shot away. Had the potential to score. Good work down the left-hand side by Ugatra again.
Ball played in behind the defence for Nanda Cho. It's been drawn very wide. Strong enough defending in terms of the resistance. Yet again, no one inside the penalty box. Abu Bakr had to go back and go all the way back almost to their own half. A few win. Get caught. Get control of the ball. Osas has come away with it. He's got the length of the pitch to run it now. Osas trying to take on Yen Chan. Just enough Yen Chan he did. You could see his forearm coming across and almost elbowing his opponent then. But Osas only had eyes for goal, not to go down.
Two looks pretty exhausted there, as do most of the SHAN players.
"18 minutes remaining. Doesn't look for very happy reading for SHAN United. They're not careful. It's a concession portion might just rack up even more.
It's got to really hurt, hasn't it, that record? Really, really hurt.
But Osas coming to an end now, and Ferdinand Tinaga, who before the start of this game was actually PSM Makassar's top scorer. He really might have benched himself in this game, Ferdinand, to continue the goals that he's been scoring so frequently and so easily so far this season. Given the captain's armband, perhaps for the final 15 minutes of this match. He would be one who is, would be one who is disappointed to be left out of this match, Jamie.
Yep.
Knowing the opponents.
He'd have wanted to play in this, because he's a known quantity for the coach after coming from Kelantan, second spell at this club.
Bayu, look at the right fullback us now. He's gone all the way up, almost as a left winger, asking for the ball now. Instead, it goes all the way out to Roni. Pass which was hit rather tamely by Giancarlo, who is almost a defensive midfielder. Jakub Sayuri. Bayu just behind him, curls that one, almost finding Ferdinand, who got at the end of it. I couldn't find the back of the net.
That's a cracker of a ball. That really is. It's a lovely ball played in, and the substitute, stretching for all he's worth, goes with the correct foot, tries to play it with the instep, just couldn't keep it down. And there we go. Half an hour into the first half, half an hour into the second half, it's the drinks break. Welcome relief for all players concerned.
So 15 minutes remaining, PSM Makassar 2-0 up against a SHAN United side. And just like it was in their first game, Jamie, against Kaya, SHAN United, you just don't fancy them to even score a goal. That's the problem that they've been facing. Organized enough, but somehow just lack the cutting edge, that cut and thrust up front, don't they?
I think so, yes. It's they do what they can with what they've got available, but what they've got available isn't quite good enough to play in this competition at this level. You'd have to say that the Myanmar League is one of the weakest in Southeast Asia, and consequently, you're not surprised when they're struggling a bit. They're always going to struggle. I would expect them to struggle against, say, a team from the Philippines, team from Indonesia, team from Malaysia even. But I just think they could have done a bit more in this game. They don't look terribly well organised. I think they could have used their talents a bit more effectively. This gap between the back four and the midfield is an ongoing worry, and the lack of punch up front.
Daniel Tagoe. Fjorwin trying to combine with Fjortet. Tagoe dropping it into space for the ever-willing runner, which is Nandacho. Tiazor is hanging it up there. Not enough players trying to attack it close enough. Oh, it's a good effort. Goalkeeper's made a real hash out of it, and SHAN United are right back in it. Ted Fjorwai, the youngster, speculative as it may be, but you don't win the lottery if you don't buy the ticket. He bought the ticket, didn't he?
Well, that's a great strike with his left foot, Tepio Wai. I'd like to see the keeper's work again here. That's fully 30 yards out. Oh, he's got a nice hand on it and then just deflected it in. He's dived too far rather than not far enough. And you have to put that down as a goalkeeping error, but good strike and makes for an interesting final quarter of an hour.
A lot more uncomfortable than PSM Makassar would like to be. Would have loved to just trotted themselves into the dressing room to prepare themselves for their Liga 1 opener over the weekend, but probably can't right now in the final 12 minutes because there might be anxious moments here. It's really one of those shots where the goalkeeper didn't even need to dive for that save. He wanted to throw up one for the cameras. Ended up really with an SMH moment. Giancarlo.
A
lot more direct now. SHAN United.
786. Thank you for attending.
Here's the goal scorer. Fio-in. He's asking for the ball back from the substitute. Tang gets it. Pieko. Abubakar back to Pieko. Had to be defended, and it was by Asnawi. Chance for Ferdinand Sinaga to break away. Goalkeeper got off his line quick enough. Tiasitu.
Yep, did the sweeper keeper role very effectively, and can't you see the spring in the step of the SHAN United players this fella's brought? 20 years of age, you see, knows no fear.
Abubakar, space opening wide for Tiazor.
Very congested and tight in that penalty area. Could do with getting around the back.
It's very well controlled by Bayu to Ferdinand, all the way back to Giancarlo. Bayu's gone down with cramp. Giancarlo would have done much better if he had released the ball to Jakub Sayuri, and finally goes to Asnawi, who is happy to put it out and take as much time as possible now for Bayu to be treated. One final substitution to be made for PSM Makassar. I believe Rizky Pratama, another one of those flying wingers that are born and bred only in Indonesia, ready to come on for Bayu.
I think they have a production line somewhere, don't they? In Indonesia, they produce these little nippy wingers, rather like the South Koreans have a line that produces big central defenders. I think that's the last we've seen of him for today.
It's done well enough. A surprise starter in this game for Ferdinand Sinaga. Despite being shot shy, has laid a couple of chances on the plate and combined superbly well with Tara, that fullback. Become a risky walk for PSM Makassar. Ferdinand. It's so clever from him.
Substitution for PSM Makassar. Player number 23, Bayu Gata, replaced by player number 24,
It's very hard to find these days, especially in Indonesian football. Player who's graduated from the youth team, still playing for his side. And Rizky, of course, is a young player, but he has come fresh from the youth team. And he's gone right up there. It's played behind. Tiasitu had to be very sure of it as it was bouncing right in front of Ferdinand. He looks really up for it and full of appetite since he has come on. Jawa. Fio-in. Jawa has continued his run. Fio-in tried to find him, but Hussein was right there. Tiazor, very clever from him. Exactly what Sayuri was doing behind him. Went right to that space. Let's win that free kick.
like Tiazor's attitude. He's very spiky. He doesn't want to make friends out there. He wants to win a game of football.
So now yet again bombing forward, continuing his run. Jet Heald asking for the ball back at Giancarlo, though deciding to just bulldoze his way right through. Ferdinand still screaming for it. Asnawi as well. Oh, I tell you what, he had to make sure he won the ball than Yen Chan. That was a red card situation. And from almost giving away a goal, they have an opportunity now to strike. Jawa. Fiowen! Oh, that was the opportunity, wasn't it? Abu Bakr keeps it in play. Still two inside the penalty box. Abu Bakr, goalkeeper, didn't look too convincing. Jawa couldn't pounce on it. But that certainly was the chance for Pierre Cole to actually deflect it into the back of the net for 2-2.
Well, no wonder Boyan Hodak's furious. That was a great ball played into the area. Really, they should have converted their SHAN United and improbably would have got back on level terms. It was a terrific breakout.
Well, the heat coupled with the fact that it is still very much pre-season for PSM Makassar. You can understand why some of the players have gone down with cramp.
And Jakub Sayuri's put in a prodigious shift there.
Well, hands up those of you who saw this coming. If you have your hands up, you're probably a liar, because it's impossible, isn't it? It looked like such an easy walk in the park for PSM Makassar.
Absolutely, 2-0 up, and their opponents not really looking like they were going to do anything of note. Suddenly a speculative shot goes in, and they've been playing well since then.
Even the centre-backs are killing that ball now with consummate ease. And their touches have been heavy throughout this game. Tiazor wins another free kick for SHAN United.
I think that's pretty clearly a foul. No debate on that one.
Tired-looking challenge by Jakub Sayuri. He's just gotten up after experiencing cramp. Tagoe finds Jawa. Fiowen on the outside. Eko flashing wide that time. It was Fiowai, or rather Fiowen, gone hunting.
Not the best layoff there, really. Could have just put it a little bit wider so that he could get his right foot across it without dragging the ball wide. But they're continuing to press, and it's making for a fascinating closing 10 minutes or so of the game. They've got enough time to get another goal.
Ferdinand had to just come all the way back from his centre-forward position to get the ball in time. That pass, which was meant to be speared all the way wide to find Risky. Couldn't find the attacker. Tagoe goes long, very long to Abu Bakr. Just when they had momentum, he gives away an unnecessary
man down. I'm always sympathetic to the forwards.
2 to go. Jakub Sayuri still planting himself forward, trying to defend from the front. Nandacho, who has kept going. It's a perfect pullback. Superb defending by Yen Chan. Nandacho.
That's a card. Nandacho knows that's going to be a card.
was always going to happen.
He's out of control there, isn't he?
PSM Makassar still hanging on. SHAN United still that glimmer of hope, with the final minute appearing now. And sure, at least 3 minutes added on with a water break and some injuries in the second half. What's Giancarlo there doing, taking that free kick? He's taking it to Ferdinand. Here's Roney. Giancarlo Rodriguez. It really looks like fish out of water, isn't it? Him playing in that position. It's 4 added minutes. Loses possession of the ball. Abu Bakar with a very clever pass forward to Pierre Kyo. Try to nutmeg his opponents with that pass back. Giancarlo yet again very deep. Pelu just enough meat behind that pass to find Risky. Risky almost invited to take a shot at goal. That's the right thing, which is the whole playing up. Jakob Sayuri, still Jakob. Asnawi. Jakob! Oh. Smacked it straight into Tagoe. It was a
Really, the name that springs to mind is Risky Pelu, and almost nobody else to our recognised from the starting lineup. These are difficult times for them, but this sort of game gives them a chance to get things more in shape. Coach has had a little bit longer with them. Boyan had a bit longer time with him. He would tell you that playing competitive matches is the best way of getting a team sorted out to play the way you want. So he'll be looking forward to this match.
Well, they had two competitive matches, if you'd like to call it. It was almost like a competitive friendly as they beat a team from Timor-Leste on the way to qualifying for the AFC Cup proper. They got here, of course, by winning the Piala Indonesia, the Indonesian Cup, the first time that they won that competition last year, having finished only 12th in Liga 1. And that 12th place finish ensured that they had to make wholesale changes over the season. SHAN United, of course, in their third year in this competition, and despite the fact that they actually won the Myanmar National League last year, it wasn't very much a convincing victory. They didn't lose a single match, but it was 12 wins and 10 draws in order to win, and 12 matches, 12 victories were the least accrued by a winning team in the history of the Myanmar National League. And that really off-season, off-colour form that they took to the end of last season has really shown up at the start of the season too. Good news for them is that their league actually started sometime in mid-January, so they are in full competition mode at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, and a lot of the teams that we're watching in these early stages of the competition aren't playing in their full season yet, and so they do have an advantage. You know, they're 7 games in, and that's all to the good. And the other thing that springs to my mind, Mark, is that last night I was commentating with you on an Indonesian team at that time against a Cambodian side, and I confidently predicted the Indonesian side would be much too strong. Shows how much I know. They got beaten last night, and so I'm not going to stick my neck out on this one. I think it's a difficult one to call, but I would say PSM probably going as favourites being the home side.
3 changes that they make from the team that lost to Tampines Rovers by 2-1, and a couple of them, one of them enforced, of course, Dedi Gunawan coming in, of course, at defensive plays for Serif Hasic, who is suspended. Elsewhere, Leo Gunawan and Bayu Gatra come in. That surprises Bayu Gatra, number 23, coming in for their top scorer so far this season, Ferdinand Sinaga, who has to sit on the bench, the number 6. Kind of a surprise there, Jamie.
Yeah, I am a little bit surprised there. They play 3 at the back and 5 across midfield, with the wing-backs dropping back to help out. They'll be hoping that the wing-backs will be doing more attacking than defending in this afternoon's game, that's for sure. Also Saha and Giancarlo up front. Not entirely convinced by those two just yet.
Yuda Yamamoto is the referee from Japan. He has experience refereeing in the Indonesian League before, back in the year 2018, and in fact refereed one of the games that featured PSM Makassar that season. He is assisted down the lines by Osamu Nomura and Yosuke Takebe, all from Japan. Well, the Myanmar side, SHAN United, also make 3 changes to the squad that lost 2-0 to Kaya a fortnight ago. Part of it is David Tan, a surprise exclusion in this fixture. Yemin 2 will take his place. Elsewhere, Ted Fio in. Well, we actually see David Tan in the starting lineup. In our starting sheets, he wasn't included there, so it might be a late withdrawal. Taking this confusion here, Jamie, because he's got to be a man of many talents to actually start and be a substitute at the same time, David Tan, the number 4.
Yeah, funny because we were talking about it before the kickoff, weren't we? That David Tan's been an ever-present, and then on the starting lineup that we are given, he's on the subs bench. I suspect that he is on the subs bench, and that there's just a little error on that starting lineup. Where do you start with this lineup? It's going to be very difficult for them to create goals, but I think the big thing is for them to be defensively tight. They want to be nice and tidy for the first half an hour or so at least.
Boyan Hodak has taken his experience in Malaysia, where he won the league title with Kelantan and Johor Darul Taksim, over to Indonesia for the new season. And it is the coach Ong Nang who looks very much out of his depth in terms of his substitutions made. And a lot of it as well, you do feel sorry for him because they didn't register their top striker Keith Na for this competition, and there they have on the substitutes bench not enough players there to actually come on and change the face of the game as well for SHAN United.
Yes, the business with Keith Na is really surprising. He's the third top scorer in the Myanmar League all time. And yet he's not registered for this competition. Does look strange. Just a quick comment on the pitch there, Mark. It looks a little bit scuffed, doesn't it? I wonder if the ball's going to run very true. There's some ball patches on there. Let's hope it's a decent surface and a good game.
So here we go then, PSM Makassar playing their first home game of the 2020 AFC Cup, if it goes anyway, same way it does in the 2019 edition. You know that they are going to romp to a victory. But then again, they lost to Tampines the last time out. Tampines, the first ever team to beat PSM in the group stages of this competition. Last year, just that one defeat, and that came in the ASEAN Zone semi-finals where they were knocked out on the away goals by Beckham X Bindong. They will keep the ball as long as possible. We'll see the figure of Abu Bakr actually starting up front for SHAN United. He was just slightly behind that 4-5-1 formation of theirs against Kaya. It's a figure of Jawa, who doesn't get anywhere close to the ball. Nanda Chor has allowed Asma to take that run. Asnawi has taken the ball, and this should be the opening goal of the game. It totally scuffed that shot. They're taking a long time to clear. Well, Tagoe went down. He wasn't looked very convincing with that challenge, and he's very lucky he didn't get any touch of the Indonesian player at all.
That should be 1-0 inside the first minute there. Great run, good work down the right-hand side there, worrying for the away team. And then a really clumsy effort on goal from Giancarlo.
Tagoe just went to ground way too easily in his attempt to try to win the ball back from the on-rushing Rizky Pelu. He came belatedly to the penalty box. It's Ahmad Agung playing it back to a figure of Dedi, and this is Hussein Eldor. Long searching ball, knowing that they can spread this Myanmar's defense as much as possible. Giancarlo just really getting in the way, setting a screen like a basketball player then. He's built like a basketballer. It's an opportunity now once again for Asnawi to come forward. He loves moving forward, that right full back. We saw that at the SEA Games. Jawa's got to watch it. Gave away a penalty in that same situation in that game against Kaya. The cross is a brilliant one! Surely he's got to finish this. And the masked man devours PSM Makassar off to a flyer after only 2 minutes.
Well, it could be 2 minutes in and he could have 2 goals to his name already, couldn't he, Giancarlo? And both of them coming from that right-hand side, both very, very good crosses, and this is a peach, isn't it? I would have loved to have been on the end of this. It would have made it a bit more difficult if anyone in a white jersey had been trying to mark him. Nobody remotely near him, and he's just outside the 6-yard box. Where, oh where is the middle of the defence? That is woeful defending, and he won't score an easier headed goal all year long.
Giancarlo Rodriguez, who scored a couple when they beat Lalenak of Timor-Leste in qualifying for the competition proper. Now he's got his first, and PSM's first as well. Well, already it looks like it's going to be a long afternoon for SHAN United. Tagoe was supposed to be keeping close watch on Giancarlo. It's nowhere to be found. The ball was swung in. Abu Bakr nowhere close to the very impressive Asnawi, who's begun this game like a real hot firecracker, hasn't he?
He's looked like a world beater at the moment. Whether he can continue in that vein or not, I'm not sure, but from SHAN's point of view, dreadful way to start the game.
Abu Bakr, his touch let him down a couple of times in that game against Kaya. That's another fine example of it not being good enough. Bayu comes away with the ball only to be taken out of it by Mintu. It's Jawa spreading it out wide to Fio Win. Ted Fio Win, only one inside the penalty box, and that is Abu Bakr. Fio Win, that's a nothing ball really. And then trying his very best to steal it away from Rizky Pelu. Good enough pressure to ensure that mistake was made for PSM Makassar. Here is Jawa. Win, trying to hang it up for the longest time. Snawi with an easy header out. Chance for that pot. Shot at goal. It's not far away either. Brilliant effort by Nengu. Oh, that would have been some equalizer. Boyan, an inquest going on as to what happened to the defense because it looked very static and flat.
Yeah, it did indeed. And sometimes these early kickoffs kind of sleepy affairs, but this game's got off to a really cracking start, which is a good thing.
The early goal usually helps. We've had it. Once again, the defense, loads of gaps for them to exploit. Giancarlo snapping it too early.
Well, 4 marks for ambition from Giancarlo there. He's a Brazilian ending up playing in Indonesia, and he's another of these guys who's had so many clubs. It's
16 in his last 10 years, is it?
Yeah, it's something like that. But have boots will travel, pursue their career wherever they can, and sometimes they settle down and find somewhere that works really well for them. And I'm sure that Boyan will be hoping that that's what happens with him. Obviously he's familiar with him because he did play in Malaysia previously.
So Jawa, who's asking for the ball, but it's gone wide to Fio Win. Here is Abu Bakar yet again, touch letting him down. Hussein taking over. It's a mistake from Hussein. Abu Bakar saw the keeper off his line, so tried a snap shot from way outside.
It does look very ponderous, Abu Bakar, I have to say. Probably need your striker to be a little bit quicker of thought and deed.
Well, that's where they actually miss Keith now, because Abu Bakar is more used to playing as the second striker, sometimes as a defensive midfielder. So he's being put up there more for size than skill. Giancarlo Tagoe will win that one. Chol couldn't keep it in play. No flying start for Boyan. His first year in Indonesia, taking charge of the Malaysian age group sides. A couple of these players he has brought from Indonesia as well. He is one of the mainstays for PSM Makassar. Indonesia football have got such high hopes for him, Asnawi Baha. I was speaking to them and they say that he has been the best thing to happen to Indonesian football for a long, long time. Those players that played at the SEA Games as well at under 22 level, himself, Egi Maulana, they come to mind. Fio Win, this is a very promising run. Abu Bakar, he tried to take it back into his favorite right foot, never going to happen. Slips. Fio Win, all of a sudden, left with some space to roam and exploit. Not the best of touches yet again from Abu Bakar, who hasn't started this game very promisingly, has he?
No, I suppose on the good side, he's managed to get on the ball several times, but his touches looked a bit laboured and his movement likewise. He'll win easily identified with that little top knot that he wears. He's been quite sprightly for them. They need strong personality. If you get off to a really bad start like that, it's very easy for players to hide. You need strong characters who still demand the football.
Bayu. It's a player who almost left the ball behind him, Osis, and that's a horrendous ball by the Nigerian-born Indonesian. Abu Bakar claims that he was tugged. The referee says play on. Asnawi will play on and play that behind the defense for Jakob. Made it right back. Giancarlo is allowed it to run behind for Pelu. But here comes Nengu, who's had SHAN United's best opportunity so far. Tried to slide the ball through in the middle of the defense, which can be found wanting. Tampines took advantage of it on a couple of occasions. Hussein, though, was there after some good covering from Gurnawan, prevented the run of Fio Win. Nanda Cho, Nengu, Jawa, Fiowin. It's taking a long time to deliver this. Bubaka using his strength to win the corner. And in a nutshell, that's the reason why he's been put up there.
Yes, he's a big physical presence, and he's got to, as they say, put it about a bit. Not sure who the obvious targets are from the corner. They will definitely want to avoid Giancarlo.
Nanda Cho has got such a sweet left foot. One of the best in Myanmarese football.
Referee having a little word with the keeper there. Keepers never like someone in front of them.
It is a very good delivery yet again from Nanda Cho. You expect nothing less from him.
It's a peach, wasn't it? Really is an excellent delivery. We see so many of the corners being cut out by the first man. That's a nice flat delivery. It's not a big loopy cross. It's a nice flat delivery, good pace on it. So if you do get your head on it as an attacker, you don't have to put the pace on. You just have to redirect it, and the corner kick itself will do the rest. Obviously not as easy from the left-hand side where it's an away swinger.
Well, he usually picks up the head of Keith now, but Keith is not there. So let's see what he's going to do. Not as good a delivery this time from the other side. He's got an opportunity as he keeps himself onside. Another great ball flung in. Defends held firm that time. Allowed the goalkeeper to come out with a punch. It wasn't very convincing, but it was effective. Chance for the breakaway right now. They have numbers forward. Jakob Sayuri. Just in front of him is Pelu, his captain. Sliding challenge was good enough. It had to be as well from Tiazo. Nanda Cho had to protect before moving forward. Here is the combustible Tiazo. Jawa. There is a player moving forward and asking for the ball to be played. Used him as a decoy to actually spread open this PSM Makassar defense.
We've seen Rizky Pelu getting on the ball quite a lot in the middle of the park. I think he's the kind of fulcrum around which things rotate. And Giancarlo, he drops quite deep, really. He's a big man, and you expect him to be in the area winning headers. But look how far back he comes, looking for action.
Here is Pelu, who is very much the quarterback of this PSM side, as opposed to Ahmad Agong. Player on the ball here, who is the combat. Bayu allowed to turn and somehow finding the ball through to Jakob. Jakob's shot deflected, corner. Once again, that's SHAN United defense is just torn apart too easily.
I think we can confirm that David Tan hasn't started, and I just feel that they maybe could have done with him over on that left-hand side, because they are having a lot of problems dealing with Jakob and Asnawi, a good pairing.
TRC2, the goalkeeper who was outstanding against Kaya, has received very little protection after 13 minutes. It's the best of corners, easily defended by Nanda Cho, and that's very well done by Yakubu Abubakar. No one up front though, in support attendance for Nengu. Because of that, he had to go backwards, and there was enough cover for PSM. Rizky Pelu getting the ball back from Gunawan. Osas, Giancarlo. Is that going to be a free kick? Jawa won that one fairly, says the referee. It's a much better start for Jawa in this game than it was against Kaya. He just trotted around, jogged around the pitch as if he wasn't interested at all. Gave away the penalty and then was replaced in the second half. Pure win. to alert, defending by Leo Gunawan.
Well, to be fair to SHAN United, they've got their game together quite well, really. Obviously, that huge setback, goal in the second minute, but they started to play okay now. I don't think they look as good a football team as their opponents.
Giancarlo allowed to run right through the heart of this SHAN United defense without any resistance at all. Osas easily cut out. He's supposed to be the strike partner of Giancarlo, but he's almost operating as a left winger, Osas, than a central striker.
Yes, I think I'd like to see him get a bit closer to Giancarlo.
Asnawi, given the freedom of that right-hand side, looking once again, another brilliant delivery, wasn't it? It was preciously good for Osas, who couldn't do anything about it. Only once a hit in the box, and he almost hit him.
Used to be very much a left fullback thing, didn't it? This great ability to swing good balls in, but Alexander Trent-Arnold at Liverpool seems to have revolutionised right fullback play. We're seeing a lot of right fullbacks getting that great delivery where the ball arcs in, swinging away from the goalkeeper so the keepers can't come and collect them, just behind the defence, so the defenders don't know whether to make a contact on it and risk an own goal, and just sitting up there ready for the attackers to go for. It's a super delivery.
Be interesting to chart the career of Asnawi. He's still a very young chap.
I think he's only 20, isn't he?
Absolutely right. In some parts of the world, he's not even a man yet. And a couple of clubs already, the big clubs in Asia, that are eyeing him.
I think it's good for Indonesian players to try their luck overseas. I know it doesn't happen as much as it ought to, really, but a young man like that can learn so much playing elsewhere.
Gunawan. It's a simple ball that finds Ahmad Agong, who then finds Pelu, the captain. Scored 4 goals last year, most of them in the Piala Indonesia. Hussein on to Dedi. The experienced head in this PSM Makassar side, Giancarlo. Well, now he was begging for the ball, but he decides to turn away. He's got to him finally, took the longer route. It's Dedi. Leo Gunawan trying to switch it to his right foot, didn't really trust it, so decides to go back to Ahmad Agong. Period of consolidation more than anything else from PSM Makassar. And SHAN United have fanned the flames a little in terms of the hot starts. So they haven't found anything incisive to get right back. Pass was on for Giancarlo. It certainly was for Jakob on the outside. He took the wrong option.
Yeah, it was a poor choice there. Man outside had some space to work in, and it was a good crossing position then.
Win. Sonong beaten to it rather easily by Ahmad Agong. He was playing at Bali United as a defender come fullback, so he is pretty used to that role. Nengu Win, heavily involved in the opening minutes of this match. Abu Bakar does well first time out, but Ahmad Agong, the reason why he's been kept in the team to protect that back line is exactly for that reason, to bite into those challenges and second balls. Asnawi Baha, no way forward. Happy to go back and start all over again with Hussein Eldor. Oh, it's a poor ball by Hussein Eldor. A chance now for SHAN United to take full advantage of it. We've got players on the outside. A run of Sonong. Didn't look too convincing trying to beat Hussein. Makes up for his error and putting that one out for a corner.
was a bad mistake, wasn't it? And lucky not to get punished for it.
Miswar Saputra hasn't been called into action at all. He might now. Just one cross from this man that he had to punch out acrobatically. But after 20 minutes, might SHAN United carve out their first chance of this game. Another superb delivery from Nanda Chor.
A decent fist away from Miswar there.
Oh, he's got pace. Jakob Sayuri. Giancarlo tried the unorthodox clearance. Didn't work out. Tagoe, who has stayed up front, uses Jawa. Is begging for the run of Tiazon on the outside. Finally gets it. Abubakar left alone to fend for himself and create an opportunity. Nowhere close. Asnawi Baha has certainly been a star in these opening stages of the game. Abubakar is claiming that the referee missed out on that one altogether. Seems okay.
He's touched on his face, hasn't he, there? It's not an elbow, it's not even an arm. It's just a touch on his face. Down he goes, looking like he's been punched by a heavyweight boxer. I like that. As now we're explaining to him exactly what happened. You were bobbing around with your head there. You were heading my arm as much as anything else. Referee wasn't conned in the slightest. But if people go down holding their face, the referees are obliged to stop the game, make sure nothing untoward has happened.
Risky Pillow has got space. The last thing he wants to give him space. Osas in the penalty box along with Giancarlo. It's gone way too deep, looking for Baya. It's well defended in the end. Had to be by Nyen Chin.
Yeah, it's a good header from Nyen Chin. Kept his eye on the ball well. I thought Jakob Sayuri was favourite there, coming in to attack the ball. Maybe he could have been a little bit braver.
Leo Gunawan. Sayuri's gone at the outside just to open the space up for him. Used as a decoy. Decent enough delivery. It was a header that Osas had to generate all the power in the world because it was going away from him. Couldn't produce enough in the end.
Got a lovely left foot, but just behind Osas, who did what he could with it, but obviously never going to trouble a keeper like TLC2.
Well, halfway through this first half, the only goal of the game came 20 minutes ago. Just the second minute of play when Giancarlo headed to an almost open goal. Found himself with all the room in the world in front of the 6-yard box, stood with just TRC2 to beat.
It was one of those situations where all he had to do was avoid the keeper. If he hit it straight at the keeper, then it would be saved. Otherwise, there was just no chance for the keeper to make a save. Noticeable that the pace has dropped a little bit. Players are walking a bit more. Of course, these afternoon kickoffs quite difficult. I think most players like playing under floodlights. It's a much greater atmosphere.
It is the second match in a row for SHAN United in this year's Group H of the AFC Cup, where they have played in the early kickoff. They're still searching for their first goal in the 2020 edition of this competition. Can't get it that way though. Easily stolen and taken away. It's a pass from Ahmad Agong which was absolutely wasted. Fiowin's done well enough. Jakob Sayuri has chased it down all the way to ensure that there wasn't any sort of clearance from the Myanmarese international.
Good work from Jakob there. I'm surprised that he's come over to the left-hand side. He was doing well on the right, and a very early substitution.
Sonong was brought on to replace number 61, Ted Fiowai. It's almost as if the coach is saying, I got that one wrong. After 24 minutes, decided to reverse that substitution from the last game. Not very convincing in terms of the clearance then from Mintu. Yet another opportunity to build from the back up, but they don't have anyone up front to hit though. And here's the first touch for the substitute now. Fiowai. Jawa. Very advanced position, something which we couldn't say enough of in that first game. Nanda Cho was drawn very, very wide and deep from that pass by Jawa. Made something out of it and has won a corner. They have forced 4 of these now. That's a very good delivery once again. It was always drawing out wide of the goalposts. A chance for the breakaway now. Risky and Gang couldn't take advantage of it. They might. It's going to be a free kick all day long. Might even be a yellow card. Referees taking a very lenient eye on that one from Tagoe.
He apologised immediately, and that's sensible. It's a very marginal one. You could easily give a yellow for that. It's left the ground, he's gone in with both feet. Actually, I think it should have been a yellow card really, but it doesn't seem to be that sort of game at the moment.
Risky finds Leo Gunawan. Once again, not convincing at all the defending from SHAN United. 2 centre-backs entangled with one another and getting into a real mix before putting the ball out for a corner for PSM.
Well, it didn't look a particularly dangerous ball knocked into the area, but they managed to create chaos in there.
They've worked a variety from the corner. You'd have to say that's wasted, especially if you have Giancarlo in the penalty box waiting to feast on those high balls. Yakubu breaks away. Abu Bakar. Well, he just ran straight into his opponent then. Jawa couldn't snap into the challenge. That will be offside the moment Osas gets involved, and it was.
Might have had a case for it being a foul, but if he's in an offside position, that one takes priority. And it was a good situation there for a breakout. SHAN had committed quite a few players forward. Not sure the SHAN United players are completely comfortable with what the formation is they're supposed to be playing at the moment.
It was a 4-5-1 that they lined up against Kaya. Then their home matches, they go with a 4-4-2. Here they're almost playing with 3 at the back. It's almost as if Ong Nang, coach, isn't too convinced himself as to what his best formation is, or maybe even his best 11. They have already used 18 players this season in terms of 18 starters. That is a lot.
It's never a good sign, is it, that?
Practice so far from Miswar, the goalkeeper of Makassar, and once played behind the defense, and this time it is onside. The ball's drilled back. It wasn't a bad cross at all, looking for Osas from Bayuk. That's actually Jakob.
And good defending from Min too. Let's give credit where it's deserved. He stayed vigilant, stayed on his feet initially, and just cut the cross out. Otherwise a tap in for Osas.
TRC2 watching this all the way and almost losing the flight of it all. His 2 PSM Makassar players just sprang right in front of him. It's not over yet. This one's hung up. Giancarlo is there trying to use his shoulder to lay that one off for his fellow striker Osas. Here is Giancarlo. They want him inside the box, not outside. They still have 3 though, lurking. It's well positioned in the end by Jawa.
Not sure what Boyan makes of that really. You've got 4 players inside the penalty area, none of whom are his centre forward.
He is a taskmaster. Boyan Hodak, players of Kelantan will tell you about it. And they gel. They absolutely adore him. That's a lovely effort. Came off the crossbar from Jakob. Giancarlo tried to keep it alive for Osas. Tagoe, though, alert and defended well enough. Asnawi over Nanda Chor, over Jawa. Still Asnawi couldn't find the perfect pass, threaded right through. Giancarlo could, offside though. It's gone into the back of the net. The crowd cheer, but Osas was offside. The Japanese official flagged immediately.
Yep, there was no hesitation. The flag went up straight away, and I think they got that right. Yeah, you can see there. Not by much, but definitely offside. Good finish.
It's a water break now as we approach the half-an-hour mark, but it was that effort before that, wasn't it, Jamie? Jakub Sayuri, who sprang a surprise to almost everyone, including his teammates, by taking that one from almost 20 yards out and almost curling it into the back of the net.
Yeah, it was. I thought he was putting the ball up there for the strikers to get on the end of, but in the end it turned into a very good effort. And Tia Situ, good goalkeeper, but he's not the biggest. He's only about 176, something like that, which by modern goalkeeping standards isn't huge. Normally we expect him to be more like 188, something like that. And he could have been embarrassed there.
Well, it'll take some time for them to understand Boyan's tactics. And he's got a fresh bunch of players as well. I guess if you're a new coach coming in and you have a fresh bunch of players, sometimes it can be a good thing as well, because they come without any expectations. They don't have any hang-ups of their previous experiences with the club.
I think when a new coach comes in, if there's a lot of established players, then there's a sort of pecking order among the players, and there are old rivalries, and there are things that the new coach isn't aware of. It's quite difficult to bed in. Given that the players are as new as the coach, then that's really good news for the coach. He can sort of forge them in the file. He's only been there, he signed on the last day of 2019, 31st of December. So it's only 2 months that he's been in the job. And from what we've seen tonight, or this afternoon, things are moving in the right direction.
Well, we certainly hope so, at least by this weekend. That's when the Liga 1 season starts. Finished a disappointing 12th the last season. Inexcusable for a club that is steep in tradition, one of the oldest clubs in Asian football. PSM Makassar. Neng U finds Yakubu Abubakar, did well to hold it up against Hussein, and then get any sort of contact with the ball to bring it back to Theo Win. Neng U famously scored the opening goal of the 2015 Under-20 World Cup against the USA. Tagoe. Chor is told by Tia Azor to move forward. A touch from Jawa turned him right back into traffic. Nien Chan. No choice but to go all the way back to Mintu, who turned 22 just last week. Tagoe. Given a lot of time with the ball. And Chor finally takes one. Oh, it was flying. Just couldn't dip in time for the Myanmarese international.
When you've got a left foot as good as that, then with a little bit of space, you must take the shot on. Good power, just a little bit inaccurate.
He's finally been made to at least fly out of his goal for a while, Miswar Saputra. Played last season for Persibaya. Finished second in the league. Giancarlo once again winning one in the air. You'd expect him to all afternoon long.
They didn't even have to jump for it, did he? There's tall and there's tall. He's a sort of Peter Crouch type of tall, isn't he? 195, I think. Which, for those in feet and inches, is about 6'5".
Well, the Indonesian league just loves its tall Brazilians. Saw one last night as well for Bali United, 196. Pacheco. Jawa taking a long time to release the ball, finally having to go back to Mintu. Ian Chan. Bayu sprung to life the moment the ball was there to be won. He won it, and it's going to be a yellow card for Tia Zor. It's another booking in his array, in his resume. Which has seen so many yellow cards and reds over the years already, and Tia Zor.
Oh yes, he's been in trouble with plenty of referees, and that was always going to be a yellow card. Under hit pass, and let's hope there's no serious damage there.
He is an attacking fullback who can play in left midfield too. A couple of goals that he scored last year for his club, and Tia Zor. This man's looked pretty sharp today, hasn't he, Jamie? Jakub Sayuri.
Yeah, he's gone back over to the right-hand side now, and obviously, I mean, that must be an instruction from the bench that he started on the right, then he moved over to the left for a while, he's gone back to the right again. And I don't think the opposing teams like that. You know, what you want to do if you're defending is you want to be marking the same guy all the time.
The Okunawan just managing to keep that one in play. That was a very clever header out by Tagoe. It was high, and it was also pretty long. It was the right thing to do, more importantly, with Giancarlo just behind him, and Osas. Sure, Boyan Hodak, with that flying start that he had from Giancarlo, would have expected a lot more goals by now.
Yeah, I was expecting a lot more goals by now. In fact, the way it started the game, you think there could be an avalanche. It could be one of these embarrassing 9-0, 10-0 games. Certainly, SHAN United have been a lot tighter since then.
Giancarlo Osas. Well, flag wasn't up, so it must be Osas actually holding the jersey of an opponent.
Difficult to see what the offence was there.
Abubakar to Jawa, the space opening up for Fiowin once again down this right-hand side. To tuck himself inside in order to get involved. Nengu, Fiowin, much wider. So not the best of passes by Fiowin. And somehow managing to rescue it was Tia Zor.
It's a pretty ambitious effort from that range.
Well, the last time SHAN United visited Jakarta last year, they lost by 6-1 to Persija. The way this match started, you thought that repeat scoreline was there for the taking for another Indonesian side, but you'd have to say that Myanmar team have done well enough to settle themselves down. But yet again, they find themselves lacking in any sort of creativity moving forward.
Yeah, I think 2/3 of the pitch they look quite tidy, and then gets to the final third and they do run out of ideas and options.
Yakubu Abubakar faced straight away by Dedi. Tia Zor. Yet again, the only option available is Abubakar. He'll take that tumble, but the referee says play on. He's not happy with it. This time the referee doesn't have to stop the game. But, in the end, it was the movement of the PSM players who were ready to put the ball out that allowed the referee to blow his whistle and encouraged him to do so to stop the game for Yakubu Abubakar.
Well, the referee's not obliged to stop the game in that situation. Goalkeepers and head injuries, yes, but basically there's nothing wrong with him there, is there? He's disappointed he hasn't got the free kick, so he's rolled around on the ground to try and persuade everyone that it should have been a free kick.
switch is always available down this right-hand side, especially with Asnawi yet again beating Tiazor way too easily. Asnawi taking it on the inside, almost dancing around a couple of challenges. Two strong men in front of him, couldn't go past. That's a very clever ball played behind the defense, but goalkeeper's starting position was very good. Neng U didn't have the confidence to take it on and chip the goalkeeper, who had abandoned his line 25 yards out. Abubakar, still Abubakar. Pointing finish from him, got the technique all wrong.
Well, he showed good strength to win the ball back in a dangerous position, but then a woeful attempt on goal. Conditions very hot and humid out there. I'm sure the players appreciated the water break 10 minutes ago. But sometimes in those conditions, the water break, you take some liquid on, and all it does after a few minutes is makes you feel even thirstier. You need more water. Tough conditions.
Onside, Yakubu Abubakar didn't really look too convincing as he brought it back. Jawa, still Jawa. Who's going to pull the trigger here? It is Abubakar in the end. Jawa still kept alive. SHAN United now looking for a breakthrough. Phyo Win, only one inside the penalty box. That was Phyo Wai. Another chance wasted for the Myanmarese champions. Ian Chan. Phyo Win once again on the outside. That ball played for Yakubu Abubakar, showed no interest because he had trotted back from an offside position. Osas for PSM Makassar. Giancarlo side by side with him, trying to reverse the pass for the Brazilian. Failed to get onto it. Osas, it's very strong defending. That time by Tiazor. Right place, right time. Play interrupted yet again due to an injury.
There's a brave challenge in there up against the big fella Giancarlo. Oh, and you can see as Giancarlo was moving along, he landed on the opponent's ankle. That's got to be painful.
Well, that might be a source of concern for Boyan. We saw in that opening game against Tampines as well. Don't look too sharp or creative when they move forward. Not a lot of chances that PSM Makassar creates, as opposed to what happened last year in the AFC Cup. Time and again, look to be carving open defenses for fun. Jawa into space for Phyo Win. Ball was easily read, way too predictable. But, then again, that was the only player to hit. Giancarlo defeated by 2. Neng U. Yakubu Abubakar turned away from trouble and then into trouble. Phyo Win back to Neng U. Once again, the moment they reach that offensive third, that's where it all breaks down. That's where the ideas run out. That's where the creative director is not available, not around. Neng U, I think he's done well enough to hold it up and win a free kick, and maybe their best chance will come from a set piece.
I think I'm inclined to agree with you there. He kept looking up to see what was on in the middle, and the answer was nothing really. And a nice piece of refereeing. He waited to see if he had an advantage there. When none accrued, blew the whistle, free kick, and we should get good delivery. If we don't get good delivery from Nanda Chor, then we won't get it from anybody. And he's got a nice angle to work with here for a left footer. He can plant that ball between the 6-yard line and the goal line and get his men to run across that. They seem to be having a friendly little chat in there. Oh, that's much less friendly.
Yen Chin, not too happy with treatment dished out on him by Pelu. Risky claims innocence now. Finger pointing always going on. That happens.
referee just saying, calm down lads, come on, it's almost half time. Great time to get an equaliser.
And the jaw, that is a very good delivery. Asked some questions. Was hit towards the goalkeeper. A chance now for the breakaway. They play it right. Giancarlo, there's a lot of things, but pace isn't one of them. Try to open his strides up then, but Tiazo was always favoured to get to it in terms of his starting position.
Yeah, big beanpole character like that, highly unlikely to have great foot speed. His cadence is quite slow. Great stride length, obviously, but the legs don't turn over too quickly.
Nengu managing to keep the ball in play, 2 added minutes, a lot of it down to the water break more than anything else. Nengu with a very late challenge on Hussein Aldor.
See the shadows creeping onto the pitch, and you'll find more and more of the players coming over to this side to play their football, seeking some respite from the sun.
Asnawi Baha, yet again. Referee says that's okay. That's shoulder from Giancarlo Bayu. Rizky Pelu. Osas, Giancarlo on the outside begging for the ball. Finally is delivered to him. And it has taken him very wide. All he has to do now is to produce a cross inside the box, which he will be appreciative of. Instead he tried to be a little too clever, and his teammate Bayu couldn't keep it in. It was Leo Gunawan couldn't keep it in play.
It wasn't the worst little pass that he played there. That's okay, and he takes too long to get onto it. You know, you've got to be aware of where the pitch runs out. Needed to get the cross in a bit quicker, but what are you doing having the big fellow out wide like that? Doesn't make sense to me.
Looking to just produce one more opportunity, Shan United, before the half is out.
I don't think it's going to happen, is it? We've got 10 seconds. I think the referee's going to blow any second now. And the players look as if they're ready to take a break.
Take a break, they will. And this game really got off to a hot flying start thanks to this man, Giancarlo. All he had to do was just pick his spots, because that cross that came in was absolutely devilishly delicious from Asnawi Baha. Laid on a plate for him. He planted the ball into the back of the net with consummate ease. And that was the only goal of the game. Could have scored one before that. Otherwise, after that goal, we haven't had much goal-scoring opportunities between these two sides. So PSM Makassar take a 1-goal lead into the break against... Stadium, just outside the Gelora Bung Karno facilities. SHAN United trailing by a goal to nil against PSM Makassar at the start of the second half. And that goal, of course, scored in the second minute of play by Giancarlo. I can confirm that top left caption is not correct. That is the correct one. 1-0 up at PSM Makassar. The good news for SHAN United is that the last time they came to Jakarta, they were trailing 2-0 at halftime and went on to lose 6-1 against Persija. At least they're one goal better. They're still very much in the game, Jamie.
Yeah, I think after the shock of a very early chance in the first minute and then conceding in the second minute, or third minute just about, they did steady the ship quite a bit. They played some decent football. They do lack punch up front. They don't really have a focal point. Abu Bakar ran around as much as he could, put himself about, but he doesn't look like a centre forward. He looks what he is, a central midfielder or even a defensive midfielder. And so it's very difficult for SHAN United. They also leave too big a gap between the midfield and the defence, which could be exploited by PSM.
Talk about exploited. That's under Chol trying to, in terms of that ball behind the back line, looking for Abu Bakar. That is a very clever throw out by Miswater, the goalkeeper. And here they come with Bayu. Osas inside the penalty box, so to Giancarlo. Early header to start the game, almost an early header at goal once again to start the second half. In fact, danger's not over yet. Jakob is taken full-blooded almost by Pelu. Maybe there's more laces behind that shot. It could have just flown into the back of the net.
It was a very good start by the home side. I just feel that Giancarlo could have done a bit better with that one coming over. Could have been a bit more positive in the air, and then good work from Jakob, winning the ball back, pulled it back, and as you said, I think it could have been a more positive strike on goal.
And Cho winning one more in the air. It's a very great scampering done by Fior Wai, I should say, to keep that one in play. Just as quickly lost out.
It looks to me as if Piawai might be pushing up front, and maybe Abu Bakar will drop into a more midfield role. That was how they played in their opening game in this tournament.
Tagoe trying to hit Abu Bakar.
He's gone back up front, isn't he? It's just a temporary change.
It's Bayu running at the heart of the defence. Osas took himself out wide. Gunawan. Ahmad Agong had to go backwards after what was a very promising move at one stage. The latest attack and assault inside the SHAN United defensive third. Hussein always looking for that diagonal switch. Jawa to Tagoe. Abu Bakar, space out wide by Fiorwin, who was very much involved in the first half and probably a player that they look to try to hit as much as possible. Abu Bakar yet again another very heavy touch. At last came off the SHAN United player, who's gone down quite often already. A lot of it due to his own heavy touches, more than strong challenges from PSM Makassar.
I think just as he was, I think he put his foot between his opponent and the ball there and took a bit of a clump on the ankle. He has done a lot of moaning and groaning, I have to say, which won't endear him to the officials.
Well, last year they didn't lose a single game in the Myanmar National League in winning it. They've already lost twice this year. 8 points behind Hantarawadi at the top of the MNL. The AFC Cup, hoping to avoid defeat for the 12th consecutive time, which will equal the longest losing streak in this competition.
That is such a monkey on their back, isn't it? You really don't want that kind of run behind you. Could so do with getting a result. And it looks as if it's there for the taking if they could be a bit positive, a bit more clinical in front of the goal.
Jakob trying trying to choreograph another dance. Ball to Bayu. And to get another strike of a Jakob pullback. Not convincingly taken. Well, they're searching for that killer goal. At least they hope it is a killer goal.
That's such a tentative strike at goal for Bayu. If the ball comes across to you there, you might as well put your laces through the ball and hit the ball hard. If you miss the target, well, okay. That was never going to beat any goalkeeper anyway.
Nengu couldn't take that ball in his stride. And just look at Jawa just standing there and moaning and complaining with the rest of the teammates instead of coming back to help. He's still up there inside PSM territory, not helping out his teammates at all. Still moaning at the rest of his team. Jakob trying to take that strike at goal. Nanda Chor will come back to help. Well, here he is. Jawa trying to start the latest attack involving Fiowai. Ball taken away from him. Jawa continues to bemoan the lack of quality in his teammates. It's the greatest of signs when your foreigner starts criticizing you. Fiowai with space to turn. Jawa back to Fiowai. A much better ball by Jawa. Fiowai trying to work the angle. The quality of the shot in the end was pretty poor from the youngster.
But it was encouraging. It was a move that was worthy of a strike in the end. You can see what he's trying to do, trying to curl it inside the far post. Probably doesn't have the technique to deliver that. Maybe he should have dummied the shot and take it on another yard. When Jawa deigned to get involved, he actually made a nice pass there.
Is Dede Usmawan has been playing top-level Indonesian football now for 13 years. Capped a couple of times for his country as well. Osas, who has a couple of caps too, Nigerian-born Indonesian. Leo Gunawan made a good fist of himself in this game so far and really imposed those threatening runs as much as possible. He's gone attacking the byline. He's pulled it back well enough. Oh, brilliant strike. Absolutely superb. And you question why Jakob Sayuri didn't take more shots in the first half. He struck one on the crossbar which came out, and this time it kisses the crossbar and it goes in to make that exclamation mark and make it an even more compelling and superb strike. 2-0 PSM Makassar.
Well, and as that one came across, I was thinking, come on, put your laces through the ball, really smack it, and that's exactly what it does. 6 inches higher and it ricochets off the bar. This one, the underside, back of the net, second goal, and that gives them a nice cushion. And a well-worked goal, and all credit to Leo Guntara, I think it was, with that good run down the left-hand side. It was a very, very good goal. Boyan not giving much away there, but I think he'll be really pleased with what he saw from his team.
Well, Jakob Sayuri was criticised last year when he was playing for Barito for not scoring enough. He's gotten his 2020 season off with a new club to a rocket of a start with his first. That crossbar probably still shaking from that strike.
Well, it wasn't a tentative little push at the ball, was it? He struck through it with confidence and got his just reward.
Osas couldn't keep hold of the ball. Nengu comes forward, but yet again the options so few and far between because there's not much movement up front for SHAN United, despite the fact that Jawa has gone up now and played much further forward in this second half. Abu Bakar, much more positive play from him. That's very well defended by Hussein. Very well defended from him. Bentara to Giancarlo. Asking the left full back to do the needful in terms of the clearance. It's not just a clearance, but it was a superb pass, dinked over the head and finding Bayu. who then find some space right now for the scorer of the second goal, Jakob, who's already created a couple of good opportunities. Asmawi was there to be hit. Instead, he tried to be unselfish and lay it on the plate for Osas. Could have easily been 3-0, Jamie.
Well, the crowd are liking it, the players are liking it. I'm sure Boyan's happy with it. Suddenly they look a lot more confident. PSM playing some nice stuff now, and you do feel, as we did in the first half, that SHAN could still be on the wrong end of quite a hiding here.
Asnawi happy to always exploit the space in front of him. Bayu, his laces entangled. Nengu breaking forward. Kubu Abubakar. The referee's brought back for a free kick. Wasn't a foul on Abubakar, but it certainly was on Nengu. So you'd have to say very good refereeing from the Japanese official.
Well, Hussein's not going to back down in any of those confrontations. Jawa going head to head with him, literally. It wasn't even Jawa's row to get involved with. He doesn't seem to be a particularly positive influence for SHAN United.
Both those players born in Ivory Coast. Jawa still very much from that country. There's Hussein, now a Lebanese international. So Ong Nengu was, still had their best chance of the game with that shot that flashed wide in the 10th minute of play. It gives way for the second substitution of the game. And it's Ong Pierre Ko who comes on. All hands to the pump now. It's another striker brought on for a defensive midfielder. That's his first touch, Pierre Ko. There's Jawa looking for the angle to pull the trigger. It's a mighty long time, and he still is hesitant on taking that final shot at goal. Tagoe finally comes up. Who wants to take that responsibility of pulling the trigger in the end? The cross was good enough by Nanda Cho. It was in play all the way. Wasn't kept in play in the end by Fio Win.
Quite tricky for SHAN United now. Do you try and push on and see if you can get back into the game? Do you try for damage limitation and then late on see if you can snatch something? Because if they push too many men forward, I think they could get exposed rather cruelly. There again, that big space between the midfield and the defence.
It's a team in red who scored 2 goals with assists from fullbacks. It seems like the world order these days, even in this part of the world. Hussein Eldor. I guess SHAN United will be worried about the paucity of chances for them, not just in this game, but also in the game against Kaya. They have created next to nothing. Haven't even forced the goalkeeper into a save in one overmatch yet in the AFC Cup.
Plenty of PSM bodies got back there to snuff out any danger. I think from their point of view they'll want to manage the game from here. 2 goals up, just over half an hour to go. Not really look like conceding a goal.
That is a very clever reverse wall looking for Nanda Cho. Abubakar fought hard for it. It's well done from him. It's dangerous, but the goalkeeper is confident enough to use his boots. Ian Chan confident enough to allow that bouncing ball, take it on the half volley and pass it back to TRC2. couldn't do anything at all with both those goals. Win trying to bomb forward and create the space. Nanda Cho, any chance, any opportunity, he's flinging one inside. Time a little too deep at the end for Sonong. Fioai, it's disappointing.
Well, the ball in from Nanda Cho on the left was quite good, but that second ball in was woeful. I think the home fans will be looking forward to more goals in this.
And having created second, he's only in this game taking the place of Pedro Pere, Ronnie Bodapere, Leo Gutara. Also in his first season for Seman Padang.
He's had a good game. Obviously, the assist now was excellent play, but overall he's caught the eye. Become very much a favoured position, or it looks like he's going to have to go off. That rotating motion suggests that he's not able to continue. He's given the thumbs up though. Players always want to. Players that you like always want to carry on. I've never understood players who are quite happy to come off injured.
Well, Ronnie B is getting ready to come on in case he is needed. The player who started as left full-back in that opening game defeat against Tampines Rovers. I guess a couple of players have been left on the bench. Some regular starters like Ferdinand Sinaga, only because their opening match this weekend against Liga 1 takes place, and they are very mindful of that as well. At the end of the day, the AFC Cup, all good and dandy, but winning your league, a lot more important, isn't it, Jamie?
It's the rice bowl, isn't it? This is just the delicacies go with it. Your main menu is the domestic league.
Yakubu Abubakar, did he get away with it? Oh, is that going to be a card? Referee lenient yet again. There he is. Ronnie B. Ronnie Beropre taking the place of Leo Gutara.
I think he's had a good game, and I think he'll be pretty pleased to come off after just over an hour on a little bit of a high. Doesn't look as if he's too badly injured. Only B, despite the thinning hair, I think he's still only 27. Another of the new crowd. So many of these players only been with the club a matter of months, weeks even. So well done, Boyan, for pulling them together into a team.
Ronnie B really finding space to deliver that cross, and right at the end for Jakob, but it's well caught by the goalkeeper TRC2, who had watched it all the way. Nanda Cho just keeping it alive down the line for Jawa. Used Nanda as a decoy. It's brave enough with the effort in the end. Hong Pierre Ko couldn't find a target.
I'm quite happy with him taking the shot on, but he could have laid the ball off. Jawa was hoping to get it passed back to him again.
Yet again, he's antsy, isn't he? He just wants to get involved one way or another. Loads of space opening up for Bayu. Had more time than he thought that he did. Only one player to hit inside the penalty box, and that was Sayuri, Jakub Sayuri.
Centre forward Giancarlo still not in the picture here. Finally get to him almost on the halfway line.
By that cheeky nutmeg by Hussein. Here is Tagoe. His more familiar defensive midfield role, which he plays for his country, Kyrgyzstan. Tiazor. Jawa. Jersey is being tugged. A referee might call it back.
Nice quick feet from Hussein there.
It's a clever touch as well from Osis Bayu.
Osas was exasperated with that misplaced pass. He'd done well initially and he'd made a good run. Wasn't that hard to find. Bayugatra, misplaced pass again.
And Tiazor. It's a heavy touch, almost take the ball all the way to Jakub Sayuri. Tagoe asking for it, but Mintu decides to go outside to Nien Chan. Fio Win. Back to Tagoe from Pieko. Fio Wai. Fio Win. Fio Wai still in space. Worked it well enough. There's only one inside the box waiting for a delivery, which never came. Not enough elevation behind it from Fio Win. Yet again, those two combined superbly. Well, they found some space inside for the shots. Finally, one on target. Goalkeeper smothered easily. But at least it's on target for SHAN United.
Well, if PSM could have played that ball out of defence a bit more cautiously, there were 6 SHAN players left upfield.
Giancarlo. Osas. Both centre forwards deep. The furthest player forward was their right fullback. That's Nawi Baha.
That's the way football's played these days, Mark.
Because of that, he has abandoned his position for a while, but it's very well covered, you'd have to say, by Dedi. Here goes the 35-year-old. Venture up front, which is halted painfully after a flying challenge by Nien Chan.
I think in the current refereeing climate, that's usually decided as a foul. I know Old Styley got the ball, but it's a dangerous challenge. Very heavy challenge. I think it's only only going to be a throw-in.
Well, there is a huge chasm between SHAN United and the rest of the sides in Southeast Asia. The rest of the club sides in Southeast Asia. It's there for all to see. They haven't been done any favors at all by being drawn in a very tough group. It's their fellow Myanmar side, Yangon. They drew 2-2 against over the weekend. Had Lao Toyota to beat yesterday, facing the likes of Kaya, Tampines Rovers, and PSM Makassar. The difference in quality has been very stark. Jakub Sayuri, clever ball inside for Giancarlo. It's a poor touch from Giancarlo. It was almost as if his right boot was made of bricks then. Bounced off him. As if he had trampoline for boots. Jamie Reeves still exasperated by that.
Well, you pray for positions like that. It was a nice pass. It was weighted correctly. You just needed a decent touch on the ball and get the shot away. If you miss the target, so be it, but a leaden-footed touch like that.
Nanda Cho. That's towards goal, and it had to be clawed out. It certainly was a chance. The referees brought it back. Was that for a foul? Well, maybe that might not have been given, but that certainly was a chance, and the goalkeeper, Miswa, had to produce a save.
was a decent save. I don't think there was any foul there. I think he's pulled it back because there was a head injury. Skipper Risky Pelu there, who's had a good game for them. I like his work. He's enjoying himself. Now that should be a drop ball, but I don't think it'll be contested by SHAN. There we go. Good sense prevails there.
Miswar Saputra finally called into action over the last 10 minutes. A couple of saves he's had to make. One a shot taken by Pierre Cole. He got down well to it and was comfortable with it. Giancarlo. Pelu, it's a clever ball. Just carving open this defense easily yet again. Bayu has brought Jakub Sayuri back. We know that he can strike it. He's already struck one. This one flies over.
Yeah, but I'm okay with that. It wasn't tentative. He got it out from under his feet. Took the shot on. Okay, didn't hit the target this time, but at least he got a decent shot away. Had the potential to score. Good work down the left-hand side by Ugatra again.
Ball played in behind the defense for Nanda Chol. It's been drawn very wide. Strong enough defending in terms of the resistance. Yet again, no one inside the penalty box. Abu Bakr had to go back and go all the way back almost to their own half. A Fio in. Get caught. Couldn't get control of the ball. Osas has come away with it. Has got the length of the pitch to run it now. Osas trying to take on Yen Chan. Just enough Yen Chan he did. You could see his forearm coming across and almost elbowing his opponent then. But Osas only had eyes for goal, not to go down.
Well, it was a nice positive run from Osas there, and I thought he could easily have won the free kick as he went forward. Two looks pretty exhausted there, as do most of the SHAN players.
"18 minutes remaining. Doesn't look for very happy reading for SHAN United. Heading for their 12th loss in a row in this competition. In fact, prior to this, their last 4 games, they scored 1 and conceded 19. If they're not careful, the concession portion might just rack up even more.
It's got to really hurt, isn't it, that record? Really, really hurt.
Osas coming to an end now, and Ferdinand Tinaga, before the start of this game, was actually PSM Makassar's top scorer. He really might have benched himself in this game, Ferdinand, to continue the goals that he's been scoring so frequently and so easily so far this season, given the captain's armband, perhaps, for the final 15 minutes of this match. He would be one who is, would be one who is disappointed to be left out of this match, Jamie.
Yep.
Knowing the opponents.
He'd have wanted to play in this, because he's a known quantity for the coach after coming from Kelantan, second spell at this club.
Bayu, look at the right fullback as now he's gone all the way up almost as a left winger, asking for the ball now. Instead it goes all the way out to Roni. Pass which was hit rather tamely by Giancarlo, who is almost a defensive midfielder. Jakub Sayuri. Bayu just behind him, curls that one, and almost finding Ferdinand, who got at the end of it. I couldn't find the back of the net.
That's a cracker of a ball. That really is. It's a lovely ball played in, and the substitute stretching for all he's worth, goes with the correct foot, tries to play it with the instep, just couldn't keep it down. And there we go. Half an hour into the first half, half an hour into the second half, it's the drinks break. Welcome relief for all players concerned.
So 15 minutes remaining, PSM Makassar 2-0 up against a SHAN United side. And just like it was in their first game, Jamie, against Kaya, SHAN United, you just don't fancy them to even score a goal. That's the problem that they've been facing. Organized enough, but somehow just lack the cutting edge, that cut and thrust up front, don't they?
I think so, yes. It's they do what they can with what they've got available, but what they've got available isn't quite good enough to play in this competition at this level. You'd have to say that the Myanmar League is one of the weakest in Southeast Asia, and consequently, you're not surprised when they're struggling a bit. They're always going to struggle. I would expect them to struggle against, say, a team from the Philippines, team from Indonesia, team from Malaysia even. But I just think they could have done a bit more in this game. They don't look terribly well organised. I think they could have used their talents a bit more effectively. This gap between the back four and the midfield is an ongoing worry, and the lack of punch up front.
Daniel Tagoe. Fjorwin trying to combine with Fjortet. Tagoe dropping it into space for the ever-willing runner, which is Nandacho. Tiazor is hanging it up there. Not enough players trying to attack it close enough. Oh, it's a good effort. Goalkeeper's made a real hash out of it, and SHAN United are right back in it. Ted Fiowai, the youngster, speculative as it may be, but you don't win the lottery if you don't buy the ticket. He bought the ticket, didn't he?
Well, that's a great strike with his left foot, Ted Fiowai. I'd like to see the keeper's work again here. That's fully 30 yards out. Oh, he's got a nice hand on it and then just deflected it in. He's dived too far rather than not far enough. And you have to put that down as a goalkeeping error, but good strike and makes for an interesting final quarter of an hour.
A lot more uncomfortable than PSM Makassar would like to be. Would have loved to just trotted themselves into the dressing room to prepare themselves for their Liga 1 opener over the weekend, but probably can't right now in the final 12 minutes because there might be anxious moments here. It's really one of those shots where the goalkeeper didn't even need to dive for that save. He wanted to throw up one for the cameras and ended up really with an SMH moment. Giancarlo. Tagoe. A lot more direct now, SHAN United.
786. Thank you for attending.
Here's the goal scorer. Fjorwin is asking for the ball back from the substitute. Uktang gets it. Pieko. Abubakar back to Pieko. Had to be defended, and it was by Asnawi. Chance for Ferdinand Sinaga to break away. Goalkeeper got off his line quick enough. TRC2.
Yep, did the sweeper keeper role very effectively, and can't you see the spring in the step of the SHAN United players this fella's brought? 20 years of age, you see, knows no fear.
Abubakar, space opening wide for Tiazor.
Very congested and tight in that penalty area. Could do with getting around the back.
It's very well controlled by Bayu to Ferdinand, all the way back to Giancarlo. Bayu's gone down with cramp. Giancarlo not done much better have yet released the ball to Jakub Sayuri, and finally goes to Asnawi, who is happy to put it out and take as much time as possible now for Bayu to be treated. One final substitution to be made for PSM Makassar. I believe Rizky Pratama, another one of those flying wingers that are born and bred only in Indonesia, ready to come on for Bayu.
I think they have a production line somewhere, don't they? In Indonesia, they produce these little nippy wingers, rather like the South Koreans have a line that produces big central defenders. I think that's the last we've seen of him for today.
He's done well enough. A surprise starter in this game for Ferdinand Sinaga. Despite being shot shy, has laid a couple of chances on the plate and combined superbly well with Tara, left fullback. So 8 minutes remaining. What looks like a comfortable sail into the sunset has now become a risky walk for PSM Makassar. Ferdinand. It's so clever from him.
Substitution for PSM Makassar. Player number 23, Bayu Gata, replaced by player number 24,
Very hard to find these days, especially in Indonesian football. Player who's graduated from the youth team, still playing for his side. And Rizky, of course, is a young player, but he has come fresh from the youth team. And he's gone right up there. It's played behind. TRC2 had to be very sure of it as it was bouncing right in front of Ferdinand. Looks really up for it and full of appetite since he has come on. Jawa. Fiowin. Jawa's continued his run. Fiowin tried to find him, but Hussein was right there. Tiazor, very clever from him. Exactly what Sayuri was doing behind him. Went right to that space. Let's win that free kick.
I like Tiazor's attitude. He's very spiky. He doesn't want to make friends out there. He wants to win a game of football.
So now yet again bombing forward, continuing his run. Jet heeled, asking for the ball back at Giancarlo, though deciding to just bulldoze his way right through. Ferdinand still screaming for it. Asnawi as well. Oh, I tell you what, he had to make sure he won the ball than Yen-chan. That was a red card situation. And from almost giving away a goal, they have an opportunity now to strike. Jawa. Fiowin. Oh, that was the opportunity, wasn't it? Abubakar keeps it in play. Still two inside the penalty box. Abubakar, goalkeeper, didn't look too convincing. Jawa couldn't pounce on it. But that certainly was the chance for Pierre Cole to actually deflect it into the back of the net for 2-2.
Well, no wonder Boyan Hodak's furious. That was a great ball played into the area. Really, they should have converted their SHAN United and improbably would have got back on level terms. It was a terrific breakout.
Well, the heat coupled with the fact that it is still very much pre-season for PSM Makassar, can understand why some of the players have gone down with cramp.
And Jakob Sayuri's put in a prodigious shift there.
Well, hands up those of you who saw this coming. If you have your hands up, you're probably a liar, because it's impossible, isn't it? It looks like such an easy walk in the park for PSM Makassar.
Absolutely, 2-0 up and their opponents not really looking like they were going to do anything of note. Suddenly a speculative shot goes in and they've been playing well since then.
And even the centre-backs are killing that ball now with consummate ease. And their touches have been heavy throughout this game. Tiazor wins another free kick for SHAN United.
I think that's pretty clearly a foul. No debate on that one.
Tired looking challenge by Jakob Sayuri. He's just gotten up after experiencing cramp. Tagoe finds Jawa. Fio-Win on the outside. Eko flashing wide that time. It was Fio-Wai, or rather Fio-Win, gone hunting.
Not the best layoff there, really. Could have just put it a little bit wider so that he could get his right foot across it without dragging the ball wide. But they're continuing to press, and it's making for a fascinating closing 10 minutes or so of the game. They've got enough time to get another goal.
Ferdinand had to just come all the way back from his centre-forward position to get the ball in time. That pass, which was meant to be speared all the way wide to find Risky. Couldn't find the attacker. Tagoe goes long, very long to Abu Bakar. Just when they had momentum, he gives away an unnecessary free kick.
I'm pretty sympathetic with him on that. Yes, he has got a right hand on the shoulder, but didn't really push his man down. I'm always sympathetic to the forwards.
2 to go. Jakob Sayuri still planting himself forward, trying to defend from the front. Nandacho, who has kept going, doesn't win a free kick. Where does this guy get his lungs from? Asnawi, he's still bombing forward, the right full-back. Look at him here, attacking the byline right now. Asnawi, that's almost a perfect pullback. Superb defending by Nien Chan. Nandacho.
That's a card. Nandacho knows that's going to be a card. Just lunging in there.
Pirouette before the punch was pretty nice. But the moment he lost control of the ball, that was always going to happen.
He's out of control there, isn't he?
PSM Makassar still hanging on. SHAN United still that glimmer of hope, with the final minute appearing now. And sure, at least 3 minutes added on with a water break and some injuries in the second half. What's Giancarlo there doing, taking that free kick? He's taking it to Ferdinand. Here's Roney. Giancarlo Rodriguez. It really looks like fish out of water, isn't it? Him playing in that position. It's 4 added minutes. loses possession of the ball. Abu Bakar with a very clever pass forward to Per Kyo. Try to nutmeg his opponents with that pass back. Giancarlo yet again very deep. Pelu just enough meat behind that pass to find Risky. Risky almost invited to take a shot at goal. That's the right thing, which is the whole playing up. Jakob Sayuri, still Jakob. Asnawi. Jakob! Oh. Smacked it straight into Tagoe. It was a very tired finish. And that was a chance to finish off SHAN.
I thought it had to be a goal then when he collected the ball. It didn't look as if anyone was going to make a challenge, but Tagoe did really well. Threw his body in there and managed to block the ball. Giancarlo's playing centre half now. He's played everywhere. He'll be taking the goalkeeping gloves in a minute.
This guy on the ball, Asnawi, really, where has he purchased that third lung? Because he has been all over that right-hand side from the first minute of play, and he's still going.
Terrific energy levels.
Certainly a real asset for Boyan Hodak. They had to run all the way to the semi-finals of the ASEAN zone last year. Teething problems perhaps this year. They might not hit their stride with the amount of new players until probably the second half of this campaign. The group stages might come a little bit late, and that's the reason why they have to hang on to this victory. Just the one team guaranteed of a place in the next stage, remember. Fyowai under Cho. Jawa. There needs to be someone inside the penalty box. Fyowai. Ball taken away. Ferdinand Saga defeated by the bounce of the pitch. Fyowin, he's played well. Tiazo invited to come inside. They had set the traps up all for him, and it's worked. Risky. Pratama told to hang on for as long as possible. He's almost done better than hang on with that pass through to find Jakob Sayuri, who just had to time his run a bit better.
Well, you could see in the middle there, stepping up to make sure that Jakob was offside.
Hussein has made a real meal of that clearance. Roni had to be there to ensure it is finally cleared. Ferdinand Sanaga wanted Risky to actually control it with his weaker left foot. Risky went with his right and couldn't keep the ball in play.
Time to go route one, got to pump the ball up there. Got a minute to go.
Fyowin. The ball is pumped in. Too close to the goalkeeper though. Mizwar. His mischief has not been punished. Not yet at least. A minute more to hang on here for PSM Makassar. So now he only knows one way, and that's forward. And he has put it in space for Jakob Sayuri! 3-1. 3 points. Ferdinand Sanaga continues his hot goal scoring streak to start 2020. And surely now PSM Makassar win this one.
Well, that's closed the chapter, hasn't it? SHAN United pushing for that equaliser, committing too many men forward. Great ball in. And this time, that's good technique. That's nice, I like that. Eye on the ball all the way, got his body weight forward over the ball, and it's the last touch of the game. The substitute comes on and gets the third goal, and it's a deserved win overall. But SHAN United will take some positives from this. They were more at the races today than they were in their previous game.
Well, Ferdinand Sanaga's 50th goal for PSM Makassar is
the final denouement in what was a tired-looking game, which had a compelling end only because SHAN United scored 10 minutes from time. It was Fiowai who made things interesting after a mistake by goalkeeper Miswar. Wasn't punished in the end because SHAN United couldn't find another goal. And PSM Makassar get their first win of this competition. Early goal by Giancarlo, and then Sayuri with a stormer of a finish. And Ferdinand Sanaga ensuring 3 points stay with the Indonesians.
Many thanks to your commentary team of Mark Richmond and Jamie Reeves. So 3-1 it ends in favour of the home side at the Med.
Тех и других были с канвоем троне, сын ему активно помогает, настолько активно, что беках из запасной неаполитанского клуба сегодня без особых сюрпризов. Встреча, а вот через 3 дня уже была совершенно другая игра, но это еще не факт, потому что Барселона дома и Барселона гимна Лиги Чемпионов. Champions, да, Наполи, Барселона у себя в серии А. В последнем матче они на выезде одержали победу в те же самые 4-3-3, но очень любопытна позиция. Был матч за Кубок Жуана Кампера, когда Барселона выигрывала в начале. Выбор пал на француза, хотя и в Англии тоже француз. Кажется, что и те, и другие это про атаку, но все-таки здесь многое стоит на француза после своего прихода. Скептически многие относились к этому варианту, к этому назначению, и сразу же все. Фабиан Руис против него вместе успевает протолкнуть мяч вперед на Де Йонга, и первый удар на Сан-Паулу наносит на Лионель Месси. Нет положения вне игры, арбитр не останавливает игру, удар Дриса Мертенса, и все-таки сейчас флажок поднят после небольшой. Бускетс, заброс не видали. Предполагали не Ракитича увидеть сегодня в старте у Барселоны. Дани Ольма, разумеется, который перешел сейчас в Лейпциг, но лучшим игроком был признан именно Фабиан Руис. Жерар Пик. Дальше Барселоны, Реал. Команды сыграли на Энтон. Клихон. Эмоционален. Будет очень. Не просто можно выиграть Лигу Чемпионов. Клихон. Передача, рикошет, Умтити. Нет, это был Фирко. Это был четвертый. В какой момент включиться и в зону свободную. Фирко. Гризман. Барселона получала решающий пробой. Артур Видаль фалит. Где Буих? Это конечная точка. Прессинг Барселоны. Но через фол. Бросил пространство. Вот это сейчас может быть опасно. Месси не прошла. Будет Сан-Пауло, ему такая игра не нравится. Ну, спрашивается, а как против этой Барселоны играть иначе? Как играть против нее иначе, показал, например, Бетис. Зелинский. Передача и может пробить Мертенс. Удар 1-0. 1-0. Вот так забивает Наполи. И вот так забивает Дрис Мертенс гол, который в списке бомбардиров за всю историю неаполитанского клуба сравнивает его с Мареком Гамшиком. 121 гол Дриса Мертенса за Наполи. Прекрасный удар. Ну и вот так надо использовать на Барселону, мешать ей играть. А здесь спина. Мяч забирает. А можно и вот так. Забил также Ливерпуль на выезде и написано, но смотрите, как тяжело в Барселоне вот это поговорить с Дрисом Мертенсом. Причем достает мяч Семеду. Вот, прессингует Марио Руи, и пока арбитр-то не останавливает игры, вот только сейчас. Останавливать вроде бы и нельзя играть легко. Ох, каков, а! Инсини сейчас. Как? Манолс был рядом, Марио Руи, еще одна подача, Клихон, прострел низом, и опасный, и опять Костас Манолс. 1 в 1. Сколько там прошло времени? Нет, там был даже Бускетс, Видаль, подача, и на месте Аспи. Историю про коронавирус, что в Италии некоторые матчи из тура отменили. пока у Барселоны нет. И опять здесь Франция, что Атлетико Мадрид играет совершенно иначе. Мерте 10-15 метров друг от друга. Семеду. Передача. Фирпа. Инсини. Подача. Фалил. Это было бы правильно. Одна из последних атак Барселоны в первом тайме. Единоличные лидеры. И уже можно со смелой душой. У Наполи сегодня как линии держат защитники, полузащитники и даже игроки атак. Установил окончательный счет матча 5-0. Бускетс прошла. Передача Семеду. И вот сейчас можно забить. 1-1. 1-1 Антуан Гризман. Вот этого у Барселоны не было в первом тайме. Вот этого не было. Обостряющих передач в коридорчик между линиями. И забивает Антуан Гризман с правой ноги, между прочим. Но передача лишь наверх. Как там идет. Перевод. Инсини идет по левому флангу. Его встречает Пике. Инсини легко обошел. Удар. Проблем мяч. Тер Штеген, Семеду. Потеря. И Наполи. И Тер Штеген в ближнем бою. Прекрасен Марк-Андре Тер Штеген. Кальехон. И как обыграл Месси сейчас соперника. Прострел Месси. Где Гризман? Подкат. Нет. Фол. Стык. Латиноамериканский стык. Колумбийский вратарь лежит, корчится от боли, держится за ногу аргентинский гений Лионель Месси. Смотрите, как обыграл. Опа, вот так двоих в буфет отправил. Передача. Видаль не был в положении вне игры. И Видаль хорошо возвращал мяч. Вот, Марио Руй. Мне кажется, и здесь фол был. Вот там был фол, когда игру не остановил. Мяч Гризману, Ди Лоренцо. Одно из редких подключений. Долго держит мяч Барселона. Месси пошел сам на пролом. Шел сейчас аргентинец, пробил Нельсон Семеду. И смещается в середину Де Йонг.